Hey, to all my other single dads out there who are hurting and struggling and have been kicked in the teeth and all that stuff that we've all had happen. I'm going to post. I've created a platform, a system that will enable all of us to quite literally take back control of the world. I'm not joking. I'm dead serious. I'm going to show you exactly how it works. It's going to take a number of videos because it's a little bit complicated, but I'm going to break it down in a way that is super, super, super simple. Now, the reason I want to do that is I don't want power. I don't really care about power. I just want to live my life. I just want to be able to raise my children and be a good dad and just enjoy the pleasure of sitting down with my kids at the table and helping them with their homework. That's what I want. I want to be able to tuck my kids in at night and know that they're safe. I want to be able to read them a bedtime story so that I can help them learn how to read in a way that's fun, in a way that they'll enjoy, in a way that they will, for the rest of their lives, have a very powerful and good association with reading, because reading is so fundamental to everything it is in a modern society like ours. You can't do much without that. So those are the things I want to do. I want to take my kids camping. And I want to take my kids camping without having to take out a loan because, I've spent my entire life savings, which I have, on, the anti-family court's unconstitutional penalties. There's a thing in the Constitution where it says that the people shall have the right, I'm paraphrasing, but basically it says that the government does not have the right to impose unreasonable harm. That's the phrase, unreasonable harm. They don't have the right to do that. So my question is this: is taking away our children, holding them for ransom, literally at gunpoint, because that's exactly what the cops do. Don't ask me. Try to oppose them. They will literally send 10, 100, even 1,000 cops your way, all armed with guns and bulletproof vests, to forcefully take your kids and to take your money if you fail to pay your child support. That's what they'll do. The banks, of course, enforce the child support. What they really do is the judge will issue an order, and then, kapoof, your money will be gone because it will magically disappear from your bank account through what's called a garnishment order. That's the primary way they get both of their power, right? But it really all stems back to money. Because if they have access to the banks, then they can, do that through a garnishment order. If they have all the money in the world, they can just pay the cops to lump us all over the head and kick us in the teeth. And that is exactly what they do every damn day. So, the way we can defeat them, but we have to work together, is we have to replace the central banking system with a system that we govern, that we control, that is fair and honest, that is transparent, and that is free and open to all. That's how. Now, a very intelligent guy by the name of Satoshi Nakamoto, I don't know if you've heard of this guy, but he is the guy who created Bitcoin. And I'll tell you something. He released Bitcoin anonymously. No one knows who he is. No one in the entire world, to the best of my knowledge. And I can't speak for this guy, but I would imagine. And by the way, it could be a woman too. It could be, because we just know it's someone who identified themselves as Satoshi Nakamoto. My understanding is Satoshi Nakamoto is a Japanese name, and then it's a men's name, so I presume it's a guy, but could be wrong. But he released this all anonymously, and it's easy to see why he did, because what would the powers that be do to him if they knew that he was working on a system that could make them obsolete? It would literally take away their power. Because think about it, if we had a system today that replaced the central banks and was a currency that was stable, fast, secure, and that anyone could transact with anywhere, let's just say, hypothetically, I had developed such a system, because that's not hypothetical, I have. If the people adopted it, overnight, the central banks would lose their power. And then we could all regain control over our corrupt politicians. We could gain control over corrupt police officers. We could all just take our lives back and just, live our lives in peace. Because the thing I've noticed that's kind of miraculous is people tend to be extremely good to each other. and cooperate and collaborate with each other extremely well when they're just left to their natural devices, when they're just left on their own. And regardless of what they believe, I've noticed that. I meet people from every walk of life. People, I met a guy tonight, his name's Omar. He's from Turkey. Seems like a super nice guy. I've met people from every walk of life, and what I've noticed is they tend to get along pretty damn good. So, I'm publishing this message to all of my, fellow dads out there, my fellow alienated parents just like me. It's happened to me twice. The second time, 1, 2, yeah, I can count, right? The second time it happened, I was so pissed off. And I'm not a dumb guy. I programmed computers my whole life. I have, I'd say reasonably average intelligence. I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but I'm certainly not the dumbest. I am stubborn, though, and I don't mind fighting if I have to. I don't like to fight ever. I'll avoid a fight at all, if at all possible, but I was just raised that if you got to fight and get it over with, and get it done as quick as you can. And, there's 3 rules to fighting that I learned, and the 3 rules are: blood can be drawn, you could lose your life, and, I'm sorry, I skipped the first one, sorry. Hits will be taken, blood could be drawn, and you could lose your life. Those are the 3 rules I learned. So I was taught that in martial arts, and I was taught that before you engage anyone in open combat, make sure you assess that and you evaluate that very carefully, because hits would be taken, blood could be drawn, and you could lose your life. I accepted that risk when I took on this challenge because I love my kids. And I know for a fact that there are millions and millions and probably billions of other good people out there like me who are willing to fight as long as you all know what to do. But if no one knows what to do, then how can anyone fight? How can we all come together and fight if nobody knows what to do, and if there's no way to organize ourselves together? I've created a system which solves all of those problems, and it exists right now. I'm asking for your help to help me launch it. I cannot do this alone. It's going to take thousands of us working together. But I promise you this: if you learn about how the system works, it is based on the same cryptographic mechanisms that secure Bitcoin. So I just published a video right now on my other page. I'm asking you to please go check it out. It explains exactly how the encryption and the decryption work in Bitcoin. So I'm going to publish videos explaining exactly how it all works, and I'm going to relate it back to Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is the model upon which I base the design of the system that I have developed and I am trying to release. So that's why you'll hear me talk about Bitcoin over and over again. It has everything to do with how we help our children, how we help our nation, how we help the world, hopefully avoid a world war, because it looks like the elite are trying to drive us there. Well, I'm certain they're trying to drive us there right now. I know so. It's just obvious. I'm sure we all do. Everyone knows. We're all aware, right? We're all awake, finally together. Let's take a stand. Let's stand up, and let's do this thing. Let's get it over as quickly as humanly possible, just like my father used to tell me. He used to tell me, if you ever have to get into a fight, because there was a bully at school. I was in the 3rd grade. There was a beautiful girl, my girlfriend, her name was Lainey. Lainey, I don't know if you're out there. Hi, how's it going? Long time no see. It was in Nevada. So I was in the 3rd grade. It was puppy love. It was cute, right? But, she was my girlfriend, and boy, I was super, super proud to have her as my girlfriend, because she was really pretty, and she was super nice, and we just had fun playing hopscotch and stuff. Weird, a dude playing hopscotch, right? But I was like, I don't care. Hey, there's cute girls over there. That's fine. I'll go play some hopscotch. So anyway, that's how I got my first girlfriend. So weird little aside, I guess. But anyway, her cousin was, we were the 3rd grade. Her cousin was in the 5th grade, much bigger than I am. I'm 6'4" today, right? I'm 6'4". So imagine, this is 6'4". Imagine he was way up here to me. He was 2 heads taller than me, huge. I was terrified, and he was telling me he was going to beat me up because I was his cousin's, boyfriend. Of course, just being protective, which I understand. But so I talked to my dad, and I was like, Dad, you got to come to school with me. He's going to kick my ass. He's going to kill me. And then I thought my dad would come to school with me. I thought my dad would come to school, or send my mom to school, or tell the teachers to come out. That's what I was expecting. Man, was I disappointed. Because you know what my dad told me in 3rd grade? My dad said, well, what are you going to do about it? And I was like, huh? Like, no, you don't understand. He's going to kill me. Like, you got to come to school with me, Dad. And I tried to convince him. And he's like, well, can't do that. I got work. Your mom's got this. You're going to have to handle it. And I was like, I was starting to break down. Long story short, he did not come to school with me. Instead, he taught me how to fight, and I learned how to fight the very next day. I did not get into a fight. Here's what he taught me. He said, if you ever have to fight, he gave me kind of a pattern of things to say to try to diffuse the situation, which I have used for my entire life. Works exceptionally well. Here it is, if you're interested. If anyone's ever been confrontational with you, what you can do, there's a magical incantation you can use. It's almost magical. What you can say is, but you got to do this well. You got to mean it. You cannot fake this. You got to understand, when you utter this magical incantation, you better be prepared to fight. If you're not, it won't work. You got to be prepared to fight. You got to summon all of your courage, all of your strength. And you got to know, shit could go down. And you got to be prepared to do everything in your power to fight. Because you cannot bluff. It will not work if you bluff. But if you do this and you mean it, funny thing, people can tell when you mean something. So you muster all your courage and you say these words. You say to the person, you square your shoulders back, you put your chest out, and you stand up as tall as you can make yourself. And use the most powerful but calm voice you can summon. Calm is the key. Be calm. And you simply say, you know what? I don't want to fight you. I mean, I will if I have to, but I mean, you seem like a cool guy or a cool gal. You know, you seem like a cool gal. And I understand that, and then fill in the blank there. I understand that, you know, in this case, I understand that, you know, you're just protecting your cousin. And I totally understand that. I have cousins. I would do the same thing. And that makes you a good cousin, and I respect that. So that's the other thing. You got to tell them you respect them and why. And you got to mean it. You can't just be superficial. You got to mean it, because they'll feel it. That's the other key. It's got to be real. And then here's what you say last. You say, I don't want to fight you. You seem like a cool guy. I understand what you're trying to do. Totally respect that. But I will if I have to. So we can fight. And if we fight, you might be bigger than me. You might be taller. You might be stronger. You might know ninjutsu. You might have a knife. You might have a gun. But I could get lucky. I could get a few licks in. I might get that gun away from you. I might get that knife away from you. And what then? I said, because you never know what happens in a fight. And then you say, or, so we could fight. Don't want to, but we could. I said, or, we could be friends. And you don't say another damn word. And if you do that, well, it works. But like I said, you got to mean it. You got to be prepared to fight, because they'll feel that. If you're not prepared to fight, don't say this. It will get your ass kicked. So if you're not prepared to fight, don't do it. I would not recommend saying this to cops when there's 3 surrounding you and you don't have at least 5 guys with guns. I would not say that then. So I would not recommend it in that situation at all. But if you think you can survive the fight, or what he told me was, he said, so this was the other word of wisdom my father gave me. He said, you know, because bullies come along. I've had bullies trying to beat me up or picking on me one way or another my whole life. I've gotten used to it. I don't know why it always happens, but I'm not sure. Because I'm always nice to everybody. At least I try to be. That's always my default state, just be nice. People are usually nice. Some people aren't. But what he told me was this. If someone ever backs you into a corner, or a group of people, or whatever, and you ever find yourself backed into a corner, and there's no other way out, he said, remain calm, assess the situation, try to find another way out that does not involve violence, because remember the 3 rules of fighting. In a fight, hits will be taken, blood could be drawn, and you could lose your life. Those are the 3 rules, and they apply worldwide. So he said, remember that before you choose to fight. And if you can't find any other way out, if there's positively, if you're certain there's absolutely no other way out except to fight, then you have to fight. There's no other way out. And if you have to fight, he said, don't say another damn word. Close your mouth. Don't waste your time exchanging insults. It's a waste of time. If you have to fight, shut your mouth, zip your lip, get to it, and get it done as quickly as possible and get the hell out of there. That's what he told me. That has served me very, very well. These things have been my guiding principles, or at least some of them, my whole life. And I've managed to avoid a lot of fights. More fights than you might know. I've avoided more fights than I've ever gotten into. As a matter of fact, I avoided a fight, just a few fights, like at least 2 or 3 fights in the last year, at least, that I can recall off the top of my head. So this shit works. Anyway, so I wanted to share this with you. So this is my motivation for recording these videos. I've developed a way for all of us to help our children, and from what I can see, we have to fight, folks. There is no other way. There is absolutely no other way we're ever going to regain our freedoms. We will ever regain custody of our children. We will ever regain control of our money and be free from living under the boot of oppression ever, unless we fight. So I am calling you to action. I am asking you to fight. But I'm asking you to fight smart. And that's the other thing my dad taught me. He said, if you have to fight, here's the thing. We don't win fights with that. We don't. We never do. We use this. This wins fights. First and foremost, this. Your brain. We fight smart. So that's what I'm asking you all to do with me. Fight smart. And if we fight together, we outnumber them all. And we can fight with something that does not involve violence whatsoever. It's powerful. It's so powerful, it is the very thing that has brought us all down into the state of being subjugated right now, and it's money. Because money is what makes the world go round. Money is what gives these people their power. Money is why cops become corrupt. Money is why politicians become corrupt. Money is why desperate people do things that they don't want to do, because they're starving and they need money. They need money to eat. What they really need is food. But if you can't get food without money, then everything hinges on money, doesn't it? And that's where we all find ourselves, isn't it? We all live in, well, not all of us, right? But many of us live in cities and societies. And I guarantee no matter where you live, no matter where, even if you live on a farm in the middle of Oklahoma or Kansas or other farm towns, or in the middle of the nation, in the heartland. That's the word I was looking for, in the heartland. Even if you live there and you've got hundreds of acres, okay, you're set, fine. But what happens when these people squash everybody else? What do you think will happen next? Who will they come for next? Will they come for you? I don't know. I'm just leaving that as food for thought. I believe that time has come where we must all fight. Because the things they have done to us all over the last 5.5 years are absolutely atrocious. The things they're doing right now are absolutely horrific. And I will not stand by and watch it happen. I've dedicated my life to this for the last 6 years. I've dedicated 100% of my time to this for the last 6 years. This problem that I've solved is so complicated, few people can solve it. I don't think I'm that special. I just think I've worked really, really hard at it. And I've had the very good fortune of having a strong family by my side to support me, and I'm grateful. More than they know. So, I'm asking you please just to check out these videos. Take a few minutes of your time, go over to my page, watch it, and please share it with your friends. This is incredibly important. This will benefit all of us, and it will enable all of us to rescue our children. Because we've all seen and we know what happens when children are raised without fathers around. Predators lay in wait to do horrifying things. And they do these things every day. Let's put a stop to it together, please. Join me. All right, well, thanks. I'm going to leave a link to, actually, the link is, this is on the same channel, so it's Valhalla Constructs. That is the name of the project. So Valhalla Constructs is the education channel I've created, purely for educational purposes, by the way, to invite all of you to learn more and ask you to take action with me and with the brave people around the world so that we can defeat these enemies once and for all. Please just learn more, and as always, stay frosty and stay strapped. Take care.